That question carries a lot of shame inside it. And because of that shame, most people never ask it. They stay quiet. They tell themselves it was just bad luck, that it was a weak moment, that it will never happen again. But the truth is more interesting than that, and much more important. Because understanding why smart people fall into this trap is not about finding someone to blame. It is about understanding something deep and true about what it means to be human, about what makes us open, about what makes us reach for connection, about what makes all of us, no matter how smart, able to be hurt by the wrong person. This video is about that, not about monsters, not about obvious villains that anyone could spot from across the street, but about the invisible mechanism that runs quietly underneath relationships that look completely normal, relationships that feel intense and special.
Relationships that feel, to the person inside them, like the most real thing they have ever experienced. Over the next few minutes, you are going to understand why being smart does not automatically protect you. Why the things that make a person wonderful are the exact same things a skilled manipulator will look for. And why the hardest trap to see is the one that was built specifically for you. Let us start by taking apart an idea that almost everyone carries. The idea that being smart keeps you safe. For a long time, people believed that intelligent people were harder to manipulate, that logical thinking, careful analysis, the habit of questioning things, all of that formed a kind of shield, a natural wall between a smart person and the people who might want to take advantage of them. But that belief is wrong, and science has spent decades proving it. Logical intelligence, the ability to solve problems, to think in organized ways, to find patterns and make sense of complicated information, is an incredible skill, but it only works in certain situations. It works when the problem is right in front of you, when you can see all the pieces, when the rules of the game are clear and stay the same. Emotional manipulation does not play by those rules. It operates in a completely different space. A space where the problem is not in front of you, it is inside you. Where the important things are not visible, they are felt. Where the rules of the game change quietly, without any warning, over and over again. And in that space, logical intelligence does not always help. Sometimes it makes things harder. Because a smart person, when something does not make sense, does not simply walk away. They try to understand it. They look for the logic hiding underneath the confusion. They believe that if they think hard enough, if they analyze carefully enough, they will eventually figure out the puzzle. And that is precisely where the trap closes. There is another piece of this that almost never gets talked about, and it might be the most important piece of all. Every human being, every single one, has a deep need to be truly seen by another person. Not just noticed, truly seen, known, understood in the places that are usually hidden. This need does not go away when a person becomes smart or successful or capable. In many cases, it actually grows stronger. Because people who think deeply about the world, people who observe carefully, people who feel things with intensity, those people often feel misunderstood. They carry a quiet kind of loneliness, a feeling that very few people ever really get what is going on inside them. And when someone comes along who seems to understand, really genuinely understand, the effect is enormous. It lowers walls that took years to build. A skilled manipulator does not arrive looking dangerous. They never do. They arrive looking like the answer to a question you have been carrying for a very long time. And to understand how they find the people they are looking for, we need to understand what they are actually looking for.
They are not looking for weakness. Not exactly. Not in the way most people imagine. They are looking for empathy. They look for people who genuinely care about others, who feel someone else's pain almost as if it were their own, who find it very hard to say no, because saying no feels like causing hurt. They look for people who think deeply about themselves, people who examine their own behavior honestly, who recognize their own mistakes, who are always willing to ask, "Is this my fault?"
That quality, which is actually a beautiful quality in any human being, becomes, in the wrong hands, a perfect tool. Because a person who constantly questions themselves will always give the other person the benefit of the doubt. They will take the blame, even when the blame is not theirs. They will work harder to fix something that they did not break. They look for people who believe in others, people who see potential where others see warning signs, people who hold on, people who build stories around other people and refuse to give up on those stories easily. And they look for people who have a need that is not completely filled, not necessarily a deep wound, though that matters too. Sometimes it is just that quiet loneliness we talked about, that feeling of not being fully understood, that empty space inside that is waiting for someone to arrive and say, "I see you. I really see you."
When a manipulator finds that combination, empathy, self-reflection, openness, a need for real connection, something in them recognizes it, and they begin. The first days of a relationship with a manipulator are often the most intense days a person has ever lived. Not frightening, magnetic. There is a phenomenon that psychologists call love bombing, and the name is accurate because it is exactly what happens. A total flood of attention, warmth, interest, and presence. They remember small things you mentioned once, casually, weeks before. They ask questions that nobody usually asks, questions that go deep, questions that make you feel like finally someone is genuinely interested in who you are, not what you can do for them, not how useful you might be, but who you actually are inside. They share personal things early, too early sometimes, painful things from their own life that create an immediate sense of trust between you. Because when someone opens up a wound for you to see, your natural response is to protect that wound, to give something of yourself in return. And suddenly, you are opening doors that you do not usually open. What happens in the brain during this process is biological. It is not weakness. It is chemistry. A chemical called dopamine, which is connected to the feeling of expecting something good, begins moving through the brain in amounts that are similar to what happens with certain addictive substances. The attachment forms fast, faster than you realize, faster than any logical analysis can keep up with. And because of that, when the change begins, and it always begins, the person is already, in a very real neurological sense, caught. The change does not happen all at once. That would be too obvious. It happens in degrees. One day, they cancel plans. The explanation sounds reasonable, but the way they deliver it carries a subtle coldness, a coldness you cannot quite name, but you feel it somewhere. You file it away as a bad day. Everyone has bad days. A few days later, they are back, warm, present, as if nothing happened. And the relief you feel, the relief of having them back, is bigger than it should be, larger than makes sense.
and far more common than any statistic can capture. Gaslighting is not simply lying, it is something more specific than that. It is the steady, repeated denial of the other person's experience of reality. You remember something being said, they say it never happened. You describe something that took place, they describe it completely differently, with a confidence that knocks you off balance. You explain that something hurt you. They explain, patiently and with a kind of quiet superiority, that you misunderstood, that you are too sensitive, that you always twist things. And here is the detail that makes this so effective on people who think carefully and question themselves. They are already used to asking, "What if I am wrong?" There is already a voice inside them that wonders, "Am I the problem? Am I overreacting? Am I being unfair?" That voice, in a healthy amount, is actually a good thing. It is what allows a person to grow, to take responsibility, to be honest with themselves about their own mistakes. But in the hands of a manipulator, that voice becomes the most efficient weapon available. Because every time he denies her reality, that internal voice answers with a question it already knew: what if it is me? With enough repetition, that question stops being a question. It becomes a belief.
At the same time that gaslighting is working on a person's sense of reality, something else is happening underneath. Psychologists call it trauma bonding. It is one of the least understood things in the entire psychology of relationships. Most people assume that deep bonds form in happy moments, in moments of shared joy, quiet closeness, and steady love. And those bonds exist. They are real and powerful. But there is another kind of bond, one that forms precisely through cycles of tension and relief, through threat and resolution, through being pushed away and then pulled back. The human nervous system was designed to attach strongly to whatever keeps it safe. For most of human history, safety meant belonging to a group, having people on your side, not being alone. And when the nervous system is placed inside a repeated cycle of threat, the coldness, the distance, the feeling that you might lose access to this person, followed by relief, the return of warmth, the moment of being chosen again, it does exactly what it was built to do. It holds on tighter, not in spite of the pain, because of it. This is why the people who have loved their manipulators most deeply are not the most naive ones. They are often the ones who felt things most intensely, the ones who formed neurological bonds so strong that separating love from pain became, in a very literal sense, impossible. Now we arrive at the element that specifically affects people who think carefully and need things to make sense: rationalization. A person who understands the world through logic, who needs things to fit together, who is not comfortable with the unexplainable. That person is not simply going to accept contradictory behavior without an explanation. They are going to build one. They are going to create stories that make the incomprehensible make sense. He had a difficult childhood. That is why he reacts this way. He is afraid of being hurt. That is why he pulls away sometimes. He does not know how to show love in normal ways, but I can see what is underneath. Each of these explanations often contains a fragment of truth, and that is exactly what makes them so dangerous, because they are not lies, they are incomplete truths.
They are real things being used to justify behavior that a complete and honest picture would never justify. And the smart person, with their extraordinary ability to build context and find nuance and make sense out of chaos, builds, without realizing it, the most sophisticated prison that exists, a prison made entirely out of understanding. While all of this is happening, something quieter is unfolding underneath everything else. The identity begins to shrink. Not all at once, through erosion. There is a process psychologists call identity erosion, and it happens through 1,000 small moments where the person chose the other person's version of reality over their own. You said what you felt. They said you were exaggerating, and you, already in the habit of questioning yourself, thought, maybe I am. You did something you were proud of. They minimized it with a casual comment, and you began little by little to see that thing through smaller eyes. You wanted something. They showed quiet disapproval, and you renegotiated internally what you actually wanted. Each one of these moments, on its own, seems like nothing. Together, across months or years, they add up to a transformation. The person who existed before the relationship had a clear inner voice. They knew what they wanted. They trusted their own sense of things. They had opinions they could express without needing permission. The person after time inside this dynamic asks questions they never asked before. Do I have the right to feel this? Am I reading this correctly? Am I too much for people? Those questions did not come from nowhere. They were placed there. And then comes the moment. Not necessarily dramatic, not a movie scene. Often it arrives in a completely ordinary situation. You are doing something simple, washing dishes, sitting in a car, lying awake when you should be asleep, and a sentence moves through the quiet of your mind. I cannot remember the last time I felt like myself. Not, this person is terrible. Not, I need to leave. Just that. A simple, almost calm observation about a disappearance that happened so slowly you did not know how to name it while it was happening. And inside that sentence is an enormous truth. The voice that used to guide you, that quiet inner voice that recognized what was true, that felt when something was wrong, that knew what you wanted before any analysis was necessary. That voice was not destroyed. It was buried. There is a crucial difference between those two things. What is destroyed may not come back. What is buried can be found. And finding it, that voice, that version of yourself that existed before all of this, begins with something much smaller than most people expect. It begins with doubting the doubt, with noticing that the question, are you sure it was not your fault, was placed inside you with a purpose, with seeing that you began accepting as truth about yourself, conclusions you never reached on your own. Rebuilding after a relationship with a manipulator is not a straight line. It has its own pace.
There are days when everything is clear, and days when everything feels foggy again. But one thing does not change: the evidence that you are still looking. Because a person who watches a video like this one, who feels something shift inside them when they recognize this map, that person has not lost their voice. They are trying to hear it again. And that is not a small thing. That is actually everything. I want to leave you with one idea that may sound simple, but that took a long time to fully understand. The qualities that made you open to a manipulator are the same qualities that make you extraordinary. The empathy that was taken advantage of is the same empathy that lets you connect with people in deep and meaningful ways. The self-reflection that was used against you is the same quality that makes you grow when others stay stuck. The openness that was exploited is the same openness that lets you learn, change, and see the world with more depth than most people ever do. A manipulator did not choose you in spite of who you are. They chose you because of who you are. And understanding that changes the question. Not anymore, how could I have been so foolish? But instead, what do I do with everything I know now? That question has an answer, and it starts the moment you decide to trust your own perception again. Not perfectly, not all at once, just a little, just enough to begin. Because the voice that went quiet for so long is waiting for exactly that, one chance to be heard again. If something in this video touched something real inside you, not as a story about someone else, but as something you recognized, leave a single word in the comments. Just one word. You do not need to explain anything. And if someone in your life is in the middle of this story right now, unable to see the shape of it yet, share this with them. Sometimes the most important thing we can give someone is the right name for what they are living through. Subscribe if you want to keep going deeper into these conversations. We make these videos with care, because the people who find them usually need them, and we will be here for you.